Hey guys, want to bring you another YouTube video about today's blockbuster trade. Obviously, it was very disappointing to see James Harden wanting to go and leave, but not surprised because he's been complaining about how bad the team is when I think he should have been looking at himself playing, because the old saying would be if you're pointing a finger at someone, there's always four fingers pointing back at you. And I think that is one thing because obviously DeMarcus Cousins and then John Wall was not very happy with that comment. So it was definitely something that could have been, I guess you would have said that he could have probably not said at the time and tried to buy in. Obviously, it did not hurt his trade value because he did get, I don't know if it would be, I think the Anthony Davis trade was a little bit better for, but or Drew Holiday, based on where they were. But I mean, can't really complain on the value because we'll go ahead and break it down. So let me pull this up real quick on my trade. Because I do want to make sure we touch all bases on the teams that was involved. It was pretty much a four-team trade. So let's see. All right. Again, there is a lot of moving parts because if you think about it, I feel like they wanted to do this trade because Kyrie Irving's drama and situation. He's been gone for the last 4 games for personal reasons, and I feel like this is something. Obviously, if you think about it, this is Kevin Durant's second year, and the offseason, I mean, I believe he has an option pretty soon too, next following year because it was a 4-year deal. So they definitely want to make sure that Kevin Durant's happy because remember he helped bring Kyrie Irving, and originally the Nets did not want Irving, but they definitely wanted Kevin Durant. So I think Kevin Durant is your James Harden of this situation, where he is asking and wanting these players. So hopefully it doesn't backfire because we saw what happened with James Harden. He wanted all these different tandems. He wanted Dwight Howard at one point. Then he was paired with Chris Paul and then Russell Westbrook. And supposedly, I'm not sure if it's true or not, with John Wall. So not sure if he wanted that, but anyway, it is something that he did not have it work out with the Houston Rockets, and obviously it depleted a lot of their draft picks when they went all in with Russell Westbrook, and we saw what happened a year later. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens with the Brooklyn Nets. I know a lot of people might disagree, but this is pretty much a championship or bust situation. If Kevin Durant, James Harden, and depending on Kyrie Irving, if he comes back or not, that is where I think that is very important and vital for their success because that is a new big three. I don't see anyone in the East stopping them because, but doesn't mean that they're going to win it again because we saw what happened with the Miami Heat on their first year. So let's see if we could break it down. Okay. I wish there was something easier on breaking down the trade. Alright, let me probably just read. So it's on the article of ESPN because they were the one that broke it down. James Harden is obviously the biggest centerpiece. And so we have 4 teams involved again: the Rockets, the Nets, and the Pacers, and the Cavs. All right. So you have. Let me flip kind of. All right. So you have the Nets sent Houston a package that includes multiple players and draft picks and features Chris Levert, who was then traded to the Pacers for Victor Oladipo. which I don't think that's bad because is Victor, he was an all star. He wasn't happy with the Pacers. I'm not sure if he's going to be happy with the Rockets, but he is, I think, a better trade asset that could be flipped for something, I think, at the trade deadline, or they could re sign him for extension if he is a good fit with John Wall and Boogie Cousins. Christian Wood has been amazing. I think he's an up and coming player, so definitely something I thought could have kept James Harden, but obviously he kept complaining, did not want to be there, obviously. So center Jarrett Allen and forward Tyrion Prince are headed to the net. Are headed from the Nets to the Cavs in the deal. So for that, what Cavs are getting, I think Jarrett Allen's good. I didn't think. I mean, again, I think the biggest centerpiece or difference. I think Cavs got the worst of it. I would say because, but they didn't have to give up as much too, because you can see while the Rockets received Cleveland's guard Dante Exum and the Brooklyn forward Rodions Krugos. I know Dante Exum. He's been bounced around a couple times, so when he was coming into the league, people were excited for him. Thought he could be a good, solid starter or a rotation player, but obviously that did not work out. Houston also receives Brooklyn's 3 unprotected first-round picks in the deal in 2022, 24, and 26, which I think that's not bad because 2022, if what I thought right away was the time the Nets gave up so many picks just to get Paul Pierce and Kevin Durant. Or not Durant, Kevin Garnett. So I think that is kind of the scenario. Hopefully by that time, I don't think 2022 is going to be a high draft pick, but 2024 and 2026 could potentially be a high draft pick if this does not work out and they explode and they could be free agents and want to leave. That is maybe wishful thinking. Again, a part of me, I have my popcorn ready and definitely want to see them actually not work out. Because obviously now I have some skin in the game, wanting to see those draft picks to be lottery picks, really. But the kicker also here is the Rockets have the right to swap in 2021, 23, 25, and 27. So that's almost a total of 7 picks. So, and the Rockets also get Cleveland's 2022 first round pick. Viva Milwaukee Bucks and Houston sending a 2023 second round pick to the Pacers. So in total, the Rockets have the rights for 8 picks. So 4 first rounders, especially you got the Cleveland's first round pick. So definitely of 2022. So the Rockets could have 2 lottery picks there if the Nets miraculously is horrible, but I doubt they are. So I think that one's going to be mid-size or middle of the pack. And then you have, I think, Cleveland's pick, first round pick of 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the lottery pick, so or top 10 easily. So I wouldn't mind that. Let's see. Brooklyn gets a 2024 second round pick from the Cavs. So those are just some second round pick. Nets have 3 open roster spots to fill out their bench if they choose 5.7 million tax level, the medium exception, and likely a 5 million disabled player exception. So they do have some roster spots that they're going to have to fill out. The mega deal reunites Harden with former, so we know, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, what we talked about. Let's see, what else can we see? Definitely between the people were talking about how well the Knicks were doing. So obviously now Brooklyn is all eyes from the NBA to see how they are going to react this season. again, where this is where, especially a day after where Harden away from Wednesday's practice following the former MVP's comments Tuesday that Houston isn't good enough. So I think, honestly, not being biased, I think this team was good enough to get into the playoffs if James Harden's attitude and work ethic was there. He obviously gained weight. He did not want to be there. Um, I think he is going to look different. So, uh, let's see. So, obviously, everyone thinks because odds are improved now. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much that is the sum of. Again, I would say this is going to be a great show to see Brooklyn. Everybody wants to see how Brooklyn's going to be. Again, I definitely looking forward to the rest of the season now. I want to watch the Brooklyn. I want to see the draft picks. But again, if they do have the expansion, I just don't like how things were handled with Houston. But hey, it is what it is. They got a return. They are building for the future now at this point. Um, and I think the future could be bright, especially if they could get some nice top lottery picks. And the other thing I would say, again, I'm hoping that Las Vegas does get an expansion team here. We've already heard Seattle would be first, obviously, and obviously they can't have an odd number, so they would have to have a second team to expand at the same time. So because of this whole pandemic, they could and need the cash flow injection. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas could be one of them, and then I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, again, it's or Nashville could be the second team I've heard. Who else have I heard? Uh, yeah, I think yeah, it's very limited of teams that they would potentially look at, but definitely Seattle needs to be number one on all lists. Number two for expansion, again, would be I think should be in Las Vegas, but we don't know how that turns out. But if they do, especially after this whole drama and everything, and I'm not sure if I'm a fan of how the owner handled it, um, but we'll see. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to be a long term Houston Rockets fan after this fiasco, but I'm glad this whole drama's put behind. Hopefully, they are building for something special. And go ahead and hit that like button if you stayed through this, and let me know what you thought. Did you like this trade? Um, who you think is the winner? Obviously, I think the biggest winner I think is going to be I think Brooklyn, because if they win a championship, it definitely made sense. If they do not, this was just an expensive insurance plan to try to keep Kevin Durant. And in case Kyrie Irving could retire because he's not happy playing or he's not focused playing basketball, I don't know what is up with him. Or the other option, again, yeah, I would say it's championship or bust again for James Harden. If he doesn't win it with the Nets, I don't see how he will ever win one unless he's going to have to Gary Payton or chase a ring towards the end of his career. So, again, I do appreciate if you watched through this. Um, and yeah, let me know what you think overall. I thought, again, the Rockets did as well as they possibly could and got enough draft picks in return. Got an all star player. Not the young assets that could help fill out the role of the bench, but definitely I think it's a good starting point for them to start building again. I do appreciate you watching again. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet.